She was 13 the first time someone told her she was too dark to be pretty. It was loud. In the middle of the cafeteria. The laughter that followed was louder. She didn't cry. She just lowered her head. And wished, just once, that she could peel off her own skin. But 10 years later, that same skin, the one they mocked, the one she hid from the world, was shining bright on a billboard in the middle of Times Square. Not as a victim, but as a symbol of strength, beauty, and power. This is the story of Maya Thompson. And if you've ever felt like who you are wasn't enough, don't move, because what happened next will stay with you forever. Subscribe to SoulTwist Stories, where pain transforms into power, and the ones they tried to silence become the loudest voice in the room. Maya Thompson grew up in a quiet neighborhood just outside of Atlanta. She was the youngest of 3 girls, and the darkest too. Her mother would always say, "Your skin is dipped in gold, baby." But at school, it didn't feel like gold. It felt like a target. On her very first day of middle school, Maya walked into the cafeteria clutching her tray like a shield. She scanned the tables, looking for a place to sit. But every time she moved, someone moved away. She finally sat down alone near the back. That's when it started. One girl whispered loud enough to be heard. "Why is she so dark? It's like midnight walked in." Someone laughed. Then another. Maya didn't look up. She just stared at her macaroni until the edges blurred. That night, she told her mom she wasn't hungry. She didn't say why. She didn't talk about the jokes, or how the hallway suddenly felt like a stage and she was the wrong kind of spotlight. Instead, she retreated to her room, picked up an old notebook, and started drawing. Her first sketch wasn't pretty. It wasn't perfect. It was just a rough outline of a girl sitting at a table, alone. She shaded the background in so dark. The paper nearly tore. Middle school wasn't school anymore. It was survival. Each hallway felt like a war zone. Every locker became a hiding spot. Every bathroom break, a chance to breathe. They called her names that stayed with her. Charcoal, burnt toast, midnight. She laughed sometimes. Not because it was funny, but because if she didn't laugh, she'd cry. And crying in public? That was worse than the bullying itself. It got worse online. Someone took a picture of her in gym class, posted it with the caption, "Turn the brightness up. I can't see her." Hundreds of likes. Dozens of laughing emojis. She saw it. Everyone did. Even her science teacher, who simply told her to focus on ignoring it. Maya stopped raising her hand in class. Stopped answering questions, even when she knew the answers. She stopped looking in mirrors altogether. She tried covering her skin with layers of foundation 2 shades too light. It made her break out. But at least no one said she looked too black that day. One friend stuck around. Jasmine. Sweet, loud, and loyal. She'd squeeze Maya's hand under the table during lunch and whisper, "You're beautiful. Don't let them win." But by 8th grade, Jasmine moved away. And the silence that followed felt louder than any insult. Maya's turning point began with a single, discarded pencil. It rolled off a classmate's desk during art period and stopped at her foot. She picked it up, intending to hand it back, but something made her keep it. Maybe it was the way the lead felt steady between her fingers, like it could carve a doorway out of her silence. When school let out that day, she skipped the bus and walked straight to the public library. In a corner far from the computers and chatter, she opened her scarred notebook and let the pencil speak. First, she drew her own face. No filters, no lighter shade of foundation. Wide nose, full lips, deep brown skin. Then she added stars across her cheeks, as if the night sky were printed on her. When she finished, she stared at the page and felt something she hadn't felt in months. Pride. She returned to the library every afternoon. Page after page filled with girls who looked like her, skin tones as rich as fresh soil, hair coiled like question marks refusing to be straightened. She shaded, erased, shaded again, until each drawing glowed. One evening, the librarian, Mrs. Hayes, paused beside her table. "I've never seen someone treat a pencil like a paintbrush," she said. Maya flushed, ready for another critique, but Mrs. Hayes only smiled. You should show those to Mr. Daniels at the community center. He runs a youth art contest each spring. The deadline's in 2 weeks. Maya shrugged. Contests are for real artists. Mrs. Hayes tapped the sketchbook. That looks real to me. Maya hesitated all the way home, but that night she told her mother, and her mother's eyes lit up the kitchen. Let them see what I see, baby. For the next 14 days, Maya lived in graphite and eraser dust. She chose her boldest piece, a full-color portrait titled Shades of Me, half her face in cool blues and purples, the other half blazing gold and crimson. On submission day, rain hammered the sidewalks, echoing the storm she felt inside. Still, she climbed the slick steps of the community center and slid her portfolio across the desk. No turning back. A week later, an envelope arrived. Beneath the official letterhead were 5 words that changed everything. First place, Maya Thompson. She reread the sentence until the letters blurred. For the first time since the cafeteria laughter, her skin felt like power, not punishment. And the world was about to find out. Word spread faster than Maya expected. Her artwork, Shades of Me, was framed and hung in the center of the community gallery downtown. Right beside pieces from high school seniors, college students, even professional illustrators. People came. They stared. They didn't ask what it meant, because they felt it. A little girl with skin just as rich as Maya's pointed at the drawing and whispered to her mother, "She looks like me." Maya stood in the corner, stunned. That one sentence made every insult she'd ever swallowed disappear into the walls. After the gallery closed that evening, a woman in a beige trench coat walked up to her. "You're Maya Thompson?" Maya nodded, nervously adjusting the strap on her backpack. "I run the New Faces, New Voices Youth Spotlight," the woman said. "We'd love to feature your piece next month." Maya blinked. "Feature? Like online?" "No. On the front page of our magazine." But not everyone was happy. A few of her old classmates found the article and left mocking comments under the post. "Who knew melanin could get you famous? Still looks like a smudge on paper. Bet she used pity points." Maya saw the messages. And for a split second, she felt that same ache creep back in. But this time, she didn't close the screen. She clicked share. She added her own caption. "You called me darkness, but I learned how to shine." And the likes poured in. So did the messages. Not from bullies, but from strangers around the world who finally saw themselves in her story. A girl in India, a boy in Brazil, a teacher in Detroit, all saying, "Thank you for showing me that I'm enough." This was no longer about winning a contest. This was about reclaiming the mirror. And Maya was just getting started. Started with one Instagram post. Just her artwork. No face. No filter. Caption. For every girl who was told her skin was too dark to be seen, here's your spotlight. She almost didn't post it, but she did. Overnight, it got 137 likes. By the end of the week, it had 10,000. Maya created a page and called it Uncovered, a space where she shared her journey, her drawings, and her truth. No polish, no Photoshop, just raw sketches, childhood photos, and handwritten reflections like, "I used to hate mirrors. Now I make art that reflects me." The comments poured in. Young women writing, "This feels like my story." Mothers saying, "I'm showing this to my daughter." Even men confessing they'd bullied girls like her, and now they understood why it mattered. Maya replied to every single one. She didn't just want followers. She wanted connection. Then came the emails. A local news station invited her for an interview. A nonprofit asked her to speak at their youth empowerment event. A cosmetics brand reached out, offering to sponsor her next series of illustrations called the Spectrum Collection. For the first time ever, Maya said yes to being seen. She stood in front of classrooms, auditoriums, and live streams, sharing the story of the girl who once begged to be invisible, and now couldn't walk down the street without someone recognizing her from a sketch or a quote. She didn't try to be an influencer. She just kept telling the truth. And somehow, that truth became a movement. One day, her inbox lit up with a message from a global fashion brand. We're launching a diversity campaign next spring. We want to feature your story on billboards around the country. Your face, your art, your skin. Maya stared at the screen for a long time. She thought about the cafeteria, the whispers, the girl who hid in the library with a pencil and a paper heart. And she smiled. Yes, she typed. Let's show them what beauty really looks like. It happened on a quiet Sunday morning. Maya had just finished breakfast and was scrolling through her DMs when her phone started vibrating non-stop. Notifications flooded her screen. Hundreds, then thousands. She thought something was wrong. Then she saw it. A celebrity. One of the biggest names in pop culture, millions of followers, had reposted her drawing with the caption, "This young queen turned pain into purpose. Skin like poetry. Story like fire. Everyone should know Maya Thompson." And just like that, the dam broke. Her followers tripled in hours. The post hit 1 million likes before sunset. News outlets picked it up. Journalists called. PR reps emailed. Talk shows started asking for interviews. And at the center of it all, Maya. Still just a girl in her childhood bedroom, still drawing in the same notebook, still breathing like all of this might be a dream. One brand after another came calling. A publisher wanted to turn her story into a children's book. A skincare company offered her a campaign deal focused on melanin beauty. And then, the message that made her stop in her tracks. We'd like Maya Thompson to be the face of our global Billboard campaign. New York, LA, London, Times Square premiere. Your story in lights. She read the email 3 times, then burst into tears. Not because of the fame, not because of the money, but because the girl they once mocked for looking like midnight was now being asked to light up the world. Her face, her name, her truth, and not hidden in a sketchbook or buried under foundation, but out loud, unfiltered and proud. The billboard went up at exactly 7 a.m. Times Square was already buzzing. Yellow taxis honking, tourists pointing, the scent of roasted peanuts in the air. And there it was, Maya's face, her skin glowing in the morning sun, her eyes fierce and soft all at once. The image stretched across 3 stories of digital screen. Her portrait, hand-drawn and painted by herself, beside one simple line. My skin is my story. Below it, her name. Not Maya the girl who sat alone at lunch. Not Maya the target of jokes. Not Maya who used to flinch at mirrors. Just Maya Thompson. Artist. Advocate. Icon. People stopped to stare. Some took photos. Others cried. A little girl with deep brown skin tugged on her mother's sleeve and whispered, "Mommy, she looks like me." Maya stood across the street, hoodie pulled up, eyes shining with tears she didn't try to hide. She thought about that locker room mirror, that cafeteria table, that first sketch by the window. All of it had led here. And it wasn't about the billboard anymore. It was about what it meant. That day, Maya got messages from places she couldn't pronounce. From women twice her age and girls half her size. From teachers, grandmothers, boys learning how to be better. Each one a thread in the same tapestry. They weren't just saying, "You made it." They were saying, "Thank you for taking us with you." And Maya knew this wasn't the end. It was the beginning of something bigger. A world where no one would ever have to feel small because of the skin they're in. Because now, that skin was on every billboard, every screen, every heart that dared to see beauty in its boldest form. If this story touched you, if you've ever felt like you had to hide who you are to fit in, please share this video with someone who needs to be reminded. You are enough, exactly as you are, and the world needs your light. Subscribe to SoulTwist Stories, where real pain turns into powerful purpose, and every story reminds you that the truth always rises.